Well, hello and welcome. Just doing a quick sound check, making sure that everybody can hear me. So if you guys can hear me, if you can do me a quick favor and just say, yes, we can hear you, because that would be awesome. So welcome guys to the Daily Dose of Awesome hosted by Elite Marketing Pro. My name is Chef Katrina and I'm super excited to share with you today the power of a working backwards and really what it was like as an experience from the perspective of being a chef in a kitchen, right? So one of the interesting things that I learned early on in the kitchen is that it's better to work backwards than it is to work forwards. And you're going to be like, that makes zero sense. So here's what I'm going to put in perspective for you. I had an event that I had to cook at, and I'd never done this before. And this was a special event hosted for Disney. And I had to create a dish I was very uncomfortable with. I was given a protein and a theme. So the protein was fish, something I really still, even to this day, don't consider I'm an expert with. Um, and it had a theme called Fall Harvest. So I'm thinking to myself, when I think of fall harvest, I'm thinking pumpkins and apples and fall and really cool stuff. And I'm thinking fish. And I'm like, no way in heck do I know how to put fish and fall harvest together. Everybody was going to be doing something with pumpkin or squash. And I was like, let's do something with apples. And so I had this really bizarre concept come to my head. And it was the concept of an apple pie a la mode, and I was trying to figure out how to do this with fish. Now, you guys might be thinking, what? And I'm like, well, yeah, it's probably not the smartest thing to come up with. And I had no basis to start. There wasn't anyone out there, there wasn't a recipe created yet that could tell me how to actually create this. It didn't even exist. I was literally pulling out of thin air of this recipe. So I had to start doing some research, right? I actually had to look up what apple pie looked like, right? And I'm trying to figure out ingredients to create this as an entree dish, right? I can't do this as a dessert because that's just really weird. And so I actually had to do some research. I had to ask a lot of people. I actually had to ask a lot of my chef friends, like what type of fish I should be using, because I had no idea. I had to figure out how to basically create this dish out of thin air. So I knew what I wanted. So right here, so this is what began. I knew what I wanted to create, and I had no idea how to create it. So I had to start going backwards, right? I had to figure out. I have the end in mind. I have a picture and an image in my head. And it's kind of fuzzy around the edges, and I still don't know exactly how this is going to come to fruition, but I know I got started, I would figure this out. So how does this apply to our world of marketing, right? I think sometimes, and correct me if I'm wrong, and you guys can say that doesn't happen for me, or I totally agree because I want some interaction with you guys. But I think sometimes what happens is that we get into a course and we're only looking at what's in front of us, right? Like, okay, I know I can do a Facebook Live. Hey guys, a Facebook Live. And we kind of get into this mode of what step do I have to take? What do I need to do next? What do I need to do next? What do I need to do next? Instead of really looking at what is it you're out to achieve? What is it that you want to accomplish in your business? One of the big questions I ask my clients and those that I speak with here inside of our mentorship program is what do you want to be known for? Right? Because everyone says, oh, I want to be on stage, I want to make all this money, I want to, do incredible things. So the question I have for you is, what do you want to be known for? What is it that if people thought about you, and this is this is how basically you show up as the first person in the Google, because you're showing up here in people's minds, right? You're showing up as the first person of reference. Like if I'm thinking video marketing, I know who I'm thinking already, right? If I know about Facebook marketing, I got a leader already in mind. When I talk about, mentorship, I already have somebody in mind. When I talk about YouTube marketing, I already kind of have a couple people that I've worked with. So there's always somebody that you know. So I'm asking really kind of what is it that you want to accomplish, right? What is it you want to be known for so that you can take the actions that would be consistent with growing into that person, right? You don't just become this person, right? I didn't just become Chef Katrina overnight. That's not gonna happen. That's almost ludicrous, right? What happened was I took the baby steps to grow into this person. And trust me, growing into Chef Katrina was not an easy task. I battled a lot of, hey, you're a chef. Why are you doing online marketing? They would see me at events and think I was the caterer. People get it now. My community here gets it now. But back when I first started, there was definitely a lot of resistance out there to who I was, right? So growing into who I am for you guys today didn't happen overnight. Because if it did, that would have been awesome. And I'd be much further along in my business. But this is a growth process, right? So I want you guys to really write down, right? Yeah, I bet we do have the same people in mind. So I want you to write down for yourself, what is it that you really want to be? And it could be a financial goal, right? So inside of Elite Marketing Pro, we actually do like a financial calculator that we have you go through in the Ignition program, kind of give you an idea of like, this is the financial goal you want to achieve. This is how many people you'd have to drive in as leads. But I want you to take that a step back even further. How would you generate those leads, right? What actions are required of you to take, right? Because I can give you information all day long. I can share with you marketing every single day, but it requires for you to go out and share this training video, right? It would require you being here on Facebook Live with me, hitting the share button and going, oh my gosh, this is an amazing training. I think you guys should take a look at it, right? Because the power is not just in watching this training, the actual power takes place in the action you take around this training. It's not just for you that you're getting this information in, it's about getting it to other people, empowering them to have breakthroughs in their life, empowering them to take hold of tools, sharing with them what it looks like to grow a business, right? You can't grow a business alone. It's nearly impossible, right? You can't build your business on yourself. It requires bringing people onto your team. It requires introducing people to Elite Marketing Pro or your network marketing company or the products that you're selling, right? You can't grow this business on your own. You can't just sit behind a computer and keep learning information and expect your business to grow. What grows your business is actually you taking actions inside of your business to produce the results to get to that level. In a previous, I think, Daily Dose of Awesome, we talked about, or even in a Monday Mojo, we talked about levels of belief. If you can't believe that you can make $100 online, do you honestly believe that you'll make $10,000 online, or is that too much of a pipe dream, right? Maybe it's not a pipe dream if you've made $1,000 online. Maybe making 2,000 is a little bit easier. Making 3,000 is a little bit easier because your level of belief increases as you take action, right? I got my first lead. I can get another one, right? Like that's there for you. It's like I got 2 leads today. I wonder if I can get 2 more leads tomorrow, right? Like that is what it's all about, is that you have got to be in the mindset of like, I'm here to help other people. I'm here to get this information over to them. And at the same time, the actions I take is the results I'm going to get in my business. So we talk about consistency, but consistency is just letting people know what you're up to, right? Hiding behind this computer, hiding behind this screen. If I never did a daily dose of awesome, if I never did a Facebook Live, if I'd never done a blog post, if I'd never gone out and sat in a workshop at a No Excuses event, it was so bound and determined to help other people, I wouldn't be here today, right? It required actions. So I want you guys to really focus in on what you're looking at for yourself. And Pam, I love cooking too. It's still a passion of mine. But I want you to take a look inside of yourself and really be straight and honest with yourself. Are you taking the actions, whatever they are, that is absolutely going to move your business forward, right? So if you're saying, hey, I want to earn $100 this month because $100 I can put towards a credit card. And that's, you guys have to understand, $100 is perfectly okay, right? Like you don't have to have just this crazy stuff going out there. Like you can be okay with saying, you know what, I've never made $100 online before. What would it be like? Who would I know myself to be if I made $100 online? Like who would I go and tell? Right? So if that's your level of belief, then make that your level of belief. Get there. Take the actions that would require, that would get you to $100, right? So if I thought about it, I'm looking at Elite Marketing Pro, I'm like, okay, so if I wanted to make $100 commission, I would have to be an annual member, right? and I would have to sell an annual membership, right? Like that would get me to $100. So if I knew, maybe a little bit more. So if I knew that that was my goal, all right. So I said, okay, that's my goal. It's like this month, I really just want to know if I'm proving this to myself, if I can create enough traction and talk about the system enough that I could get somebody to purchase the annual membership. Like, what do I know about it? What do I like about it? What have I heard other people talk about around this that would get me going, yeah, okay, I can do this. So now I go out and my actions are all about the communication. So it's intentional communication because the result I'm trying to get is an annual person, right? So I know my intention. So my actions are all going to correlate or are all going to match up. I'm just using a different word. Are all going to match up to what action I want to, what the result I want to produce, right? So these are the baby steps, right? It didn't take a lot to do this. It just took an action to do this. Like I know that I want to make $100. So to make $100, I got to do this. I know, right? So here's my other piece to this puzzle is I'm extraordinarily lazy. Now you may find this hard to believe, but I truly promise you I am. And the reason is that if I'm going to work as hard as I'm going to work for $100, I'd be willing to put in that same amount of work to make $1,000, right? So if I looked at my memberships and where I was at, I'd be like, okay, so I want to be a VIP member, and I want to be a VIP member because as much as it's a stretch as it is for me to become a VIP member, right? It's gonna be a hardship for me. I'm gonna be really unsure of myself. I'm gonna be totally afraid. I probably can't do this. I think this is a dumb idea. Whatever I got to do, whatever chatter is going on in your head about being a VIP member. And at the end of the day, there's one thing I remembered. That was where I could make $1,000 for doing the same amount of work as if I was an annual member, right? And I thought to myself, if I'm going to work that hard for an annual, would I be willing to work that hard to share with somebody what a VIP membership looked like? And that's what I had to start getting comfortable talking to people and really understanding, what did VIP look like? What was the benefit of people coming into this VIP program? Now, I have a slight advantage over a majority of you guys. I've been staring at this program since its conception, right? I was pretty much one of the beta people, but that's an edge, and not necessarily is it a good edge, right? Because when you guys are coming in, you got to look at what is it the action, right? What is it you want to achieve, okay? And then because you can, I promise you guys, here's a crazy thing. I probably, and this is for me. This is just on me. This is my story. When I got started, I generated the least amount of leads. I think I was averaging probably a lead or two, not even a day. I would say I might it wasn't extreme. Like it took me a long time to break 100. And I can't remember the exact time. And I wish I documented that. Like you guys, I wish I would document how long it took me to get to things, because there's a relationship that gets built when you can say it took me 6 months, it took me a year, because then you kind of give a reality to really what's possible, right? So I had a very low lead flow. And at the time, I had a very high conversion rate, right? Because what I did is that I wasn't worried about getting thousands of leads. I was only worried about getting 1 or 2 leads that were actually interested in this, right? I wanted the hot prospect that actually wanted this information. So for me, getting started in the beginning, I tell you, it was a big time suck. Like there is a huge time suck in the beginning. I don't know how to avoid it. Every person I brought into the system, every person that has come into this program, there's a time suck in the beginning, right? Because that's your learning process, and that's okay, right? It's totally okay. Because the time suck was the amount of time I had to invest to building the trust with my list. It was emailing every single lead, right? Like it wasn't like the best strategy, and it was the only strategy I had at the time that would work for me. So I was emailing every single lead, right? I was just saying, hey, looks like you landed on my website. You opted into the 10-day boot camp, or for me that didn't exist, but let's go with you guys. You opted into the 10-day boot camp. Just like you, I'm a network marketer and I'm learning to build my business online. And I found this to be an incredible training. So if you have any questions, please let me know, right? And I would literally send that same email over and over again to every single prospect, right? And I would copy it. And every time I got a lead in, I would go in and I'd try to be as quick as possible in responding to my leads. right? It didn't always happen if I was at work, but if I would try it, I would have like a cut, copy and paste, and I would go it and click it. If I had a name, great. If not, great. Because I just wanted to start building a rapport with them. And then if I got them on the phone, great. If I didn't get on the phone, then what was the action that I was taking? So my the thing was is that there was a lot of effort in the very beginning. Like, right, it's like an uphill climb. Like, I am climbing this hill, and I knew that once I got to the peak, it would level out a little. Not that I didn't still have to go up, but the steep incline started to kind of not become like this, but more like, this, right? So it took another little level up. So have patience with yourself as you're on this journey. Realize that when people say it takes a lot of work to get going, we're talking it's a steep uphill climb. It is literally clawing, scraping, scratching, doing things that make you uncomfortable, worried about getting, people unsubscribed to my list. Yes, thank you. You're never going to buy anyway. People have unfriended me on Facebook. Yes, they were never going to buy anyway, right? And it was this constant training I had to give myself over and over again. But the only way to do that is I knew what my monthly goal I wanted to create. I just wanted, from the very beginning, guys, I just wanted to create an extra 1,000 because an extra 1,000 changed my life, right? And it was believable, but not believable when I got started, right? Like, I don't really know if you could actually create $1,000 online. It didn't exist in my world because I'd never done it before. But I knew if I put it out there and I did the actions and took actions and talked about VIP over and over and over again, I would get so comfortable talking to people about it that it would be so easy to invite people in and really look at what it could do for their business and put it in their court of how valuable VIP would be for them in their business. So this is not an easy journey, but this is the marketing lessons I learned from a kitchen, right? So in the beginning, I talked about how I had this dish I had to create. I had no idea how to create it, but I knew if I asked people, I knew if I used Google and did some searching, I would find elements of what I needed to create this. And then what I would have to do is basically play with it. I would literally have to test it, burn it, have other people try it and get their feedback, right? Which is sometimes the hardest thing to do. And I'd be like, hey guys, try this. Is this good? Is this bad? And literally be on this constant space of like, I don't know. I kind of have an idea of this is going to look like. I kind of don't. But trust in the fact that the end result that I was out to achieve was something extraordinary around this dish. And I'll tell you guys that for those that watched in the beginning, that apple pie a la mode fish dish was the rave of the night. It was considered one of the most incredible entree dishes, and people were standing in line for 20 to 30 minutes to get this dish that I created. And I had no idea what I was creating at the moment of conception. So I invite you, when you get into Elite Marketing Pro, you may not know what this looks like, and you may not have an idea of where you're going to go. But if you say, you know what, I want to create $1,000 because $1,000 would change my life, then be in the space of what it would take to have $1,000 come into your world. And think about what you would do with the money, right? It's not just there. It's like, well, I need $1,000 because I want to go on this vacation, or I want to go and buy myself something, or I want to reward myself for something, right? And really let it hit home, let it sink in what it is, and put that around your office and your room. Create multiple, post-it notes, whatever it looks like, and have that in your space, right? Because you can create anything you want, but you kind of have to have an idea of what it is you want to be known for, what it is you're out to accomplish, and then correlate, step back and go, okay, if I'm going to do that, what does that look like? Okay, that looks like I need to make a VIP sale. So what would I have to do to make a VIP sale? Well, I probably need to get to know a little bit more about the system, and I need to start talking about Elite Marketing Pro, right? So if I'm talking about Elite Marketing Pro and I'm telling people what it does for them and I'm sending them content about this concept, then what's going to happen is that there's going to be a moment where everything matches up and there's a buyer waiting right there for you because this is the perfect match for them. And I don't know how many leads you're going to have to go through. I don't know if it's going to be 3, 4, 1,000, 10,000. I don't know. But I can tell you this, if you know what you want to accomplish and you work towards that and you keep that in your mind of what you're out to do, writing your ads, writing your copy, being inside the system is going to transform your business. So I hope you guys, I ran a little long on today's Daily Dose of Awesome. I hope you guys got some extraordinary value out of this. And I hope you take this and put this into action, because as much as I love doing this Daily Dose of Awesome, I'm more excited and proud of you guys when you share your success, both here on our fan page. Share your success. Let us know what's going on when you get your first lead, when you get your first sale, whatever it looks like, because really it is up to you to show people what's possible. And while you think it may not be possible to generate a lead, there are millions, if not billions, of people who are online right now that have never generated a lead, and that's a skill you have that can transform someone's life. So I invite you to think big. I invite you to keep it real for what you're really up to, because your level of belief can only be matched by what you set out realistically that you think or think you can't accomplish. As Henry Ford once said, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And with that, guys, I leave you to have a beautiful rest of your week. And we'll see you guys on tonight's traffic training with Penny or Wit. And have an incredible day. Go out and share Elite Marketing Pro. See you later, guys. Woo-hoo. This is what happens when you can't get to the button quick enough to stop the training. And welcome to the world. Bye, guys.